Hey everybody, welcome to the Rochester Press Box. I'm Tariq Spence filling in for Bill Pucko. As always, it's great to have Carl Falk on the show. Hey, how's it going, Carl?
Doing well, Tariq. How about yourself?
Listen, I'm always trying to make it day by day, just like Pat Duffy. Isn't that right, Pat?
Every day. Listen, nothing makes me happier than seeing your two faces, which is a sad statement on how my life is going right now.
Very
wow.
Sad, actually.
And you know what? You're sporting the Knicks jersey, but I can't see the number. Is that 33?
No, it's Allen Houston. This one's just for you, buddy. A man whose biggest impact is a rule named for him in the collective bargaining agreement for the rest of time in the NBA.
Can we give Allen Houston a little credit, though? The Knicks are doing pretty well the last couple of days. Everybody in the organization is playing well. I hate to say moral victory, but that was close against Brooklyn this week.
Tough call at the end. Still don't know if it was the right call or the wrong call. That was a tough one.
I don't know if that's Jersey's good luck or bad luck for Duffy. I don't know.
Well, we'll find out next week, huh?
Yeah, I guess we will. You're absolutely right about that. Let's find out more about one Mr. Drew Brees. Here's a guy that will be in the Hall of Fame. He retired. We kind of knew it was coming. We also knew he was going to go to NBC. But Carl, is he a first-time or first-ballot Hall of Famer?
Oh, absolutely. In my opinion, what he's done for the game, take the numbers away. The fact that he's an under 6 feet quarterback who played the game at such a high level changed scouting, gave guys like Russell Wilson a chance, who obviously Kyler Murray now. And I think it's changed the way the position has been played. Give Sean Payton a lot of credit for having the faith in Drew Brees to run that offense the way they did. But he is absolutely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Pat, your thoughts? First ballot Hall of Famer. Remember, this is kind of the second team. The Saints were not his first team.
Well, I think that's what makes him more impressive. To Carl's point, yes, absolutely. He changed the way we looked at quarterbacks, which also, you not only go to short, but guys that can move a little bit, because with the other shorter guys, like he might have changed the league the way that general managers are willing to take chances on quarterbacks. But to your point, Tariq, about having the second team, you see a lot of first ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks that walked into really good situations when they got there. Dan Marino, it's going to be Tom Brady. You can make the argument for Joe Montana. Drew Brees was there to build that Saints team from the bottom up. When he showed up there, they had just gotten over everything with Hurricane Katrina. The team was not a perennial, winner by any stretch of the imagination. And don't forget, the Miami Dolphins had an opportunity to sign him that offseason too. There were two hot ticket free agent quarterbacks. The Dolphins went with Dante Culpepper instead, who made it a season and ended up getting booted out. It's not just the numbers that you're seeing. It's the fact that he was relatively successful with the Chargers, who abandoned him, but he played better, had a better career longer than the guy who replaced him, who also wasn't a terrible quarterback in Phillip Rivers in San Diego and Los Angeles. I mean, if that's not first ballot Hall of Fame, I don't know what the heck is.
I don't know if you guys remember, but do you remember the time in which there was some concern? He was injured with his shoulder during that time frame as well. So it was a gamble on the Saints as well, and it all worked out. It got a Super Bowl, and now we'll be going into the Hall of Fame. So it looks like it's going to be a great career. They are handing out a lot of numbers in free agency. I mean, you talk about Trent Williams. That's a lot of money for an offensive line in 6 years, $138 million. I mean, you've seen other deals here and there. Is there any surprise in free agency for you, Carl?
The surprise to me is what the Patriots have done, and not that they've gone out and tried to resurrect the franchise. Look, they're used to winning. They didn't win last year. They're going to change the way they do it. But just the amount of guaranteed money, over $100 million, I think almost $200 million guaranteed they've given out, bringing in two tight ends. The amount of expense that the Patriots have put forth is a little surprising to me.
Anything free agency-wise pop out to you as we get this information now?
I mean, Trent Williams, you brought it up, a 32-year-old tackle, and they're going to pay him $138 million with what, $70 million of it guaranteed? Are you out of your mind paying him that kind of money that late in his career? I'm also shocked by the lack of aggression by the Chicago Bears, because they've been in this weird carousel for however many years, right? Like, you sign Mike Glennon to be a transition guy. He's going to be your starter. Then you draft Trubisky. He goes up and down, mostly down. Okay, now they're in the talk for Deshaun Watson. They're in talks for Russell Wilson. And the move to go to was Andy Dalton. Okay. So what do you do from here? Because you're not in a position to draft a quarterback in the draft this year. Is Andy Dalton going to make it 2 or 3 seasons when you find your person next season? It seems like the Bears almost have this feel of the Bills 10 years ago, where there's no overall plan, and year to year we're going to keep trying to patch Band-Aids, and it just can't work that way.
The Bills have a plan. We'll talk about them coming up next in the Bills segment. You're watching the Rochester Press Box. Celebrate March Madness at the original Bay and Goodman. During the month of March, we celebrate with unlimited toppings all month long. Dine in, take out, and delivery. Order online at baygoodman.com, 620 North Winton Road at Browncroft. It's March Madness at the original Bay and Goodman. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. All right, Bill segment, Duffy, a couple different things. John Feliciano, a couple of different rumors about Gronk. Anything stick out to you, Feliciano? You like that move?
I like Feliciano. I like Williams. And here's the thing. All season last season, the Bills had their best season in 25 years, right? Their starting 5 offensive linemen did not play together at any point during the season. So you got guys taking discounts to come back, and the big argument has been, well, they didn't perform well against Kansas City in that AFC Championship game. We haven't seen how well this offensive line could play, yet they played well enough to get them a game away from the Super Bowl. I think that's the biggest thing that Brandon Beane has done this offseason, and the fact that he was able to get both of those offensive linemen and Matt Milano in with money to spare, because there's going to be something happening. You got the trade that happened earlier this week, and who knows as we tape this what's going to happen with the tight end situation coming from Philadelphia. I'm in awe of what Brandon Beane's been able to pull off, and way to go, buddy. Awesome.
Carl, what about Emmanuel Sanders? I mean, that's a heck of a deal for quite a receiver. I mean, he's up there in age, but he can add some offense.
Yeah, $6 million. I was surprised they spent that much. And to Duffy's point, with Zach Ertz possibly coming over in a trade, there's a lot of rumors, and by the time this show airs, maybe that'll have happened. I was surprised at the money, but this is another guy who's a great route runner. So now you have Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, all 3 guys great against zone coverage. They're going to find the hole in zone. Put man on them, somebody's going to get open. It plays into what they're doing. And, go back to Duffy's point for a minute about the offensive line. It's interesting that the most important offensive lineman going into camp, maybe a guy who most Bills fans have probably forgotten about, and Cody Ford. Because if he ever finds what he was drafted to become as now the right guard, that's going to be a much better offensive line than we saw last year.
It's a 1-year anniversary since Steph Diggs joined the Buffalo Bills. Do you guys recall what you said? Because we actually had this very rotation a year ago when Steph Diggs' trade come through. Do you remember what you said, Duffy?
Probably something brilliant, I would assume. Something very brilliant.
You said, quote, "I don't hate it." That was the quote from the show.
Brilliant.
I don't hate it.
That is brilliant. I don't hate it. It's brilliant. Hold on.
That's a middle of the road comment. Carl Falk put his stamp down, said that he loved it, was going to be a great move. And what does Duffy, the off-the-bit Bills fan, say? I don't hate it.
Well, but because I am a Bills fan, that's why I'm allowed to say what I said. Look, man, you forget where we were last season at this point compared to this season at this point. We weren't sure if Josh Allen was the quarterback of the future. We weren't sure if Sean McDermott was a legitimate NFL coach with the decisions he made in game, and we weren't sure what Brandon Beane could do. Now that we have a year past with all the things that worked out, the games that were won, I am willing to give McBean the benefit of the doubt. Forgive me a year ago, after 25 years of walking through the desert with nothing but manna to eat, that I wasn't ready to, every move they made was brilliant and fantastic.
Carl, it was a great call last year, and it seems as if it all worked out for Buffalo.
At least one of us was right, and one of us actually didn't leave themselves an out. I don't hate it. It's the ultimate leave yourself an out. Veteran move by Duffy on that one. At least I took a stand.
Yeah, absolutely. Going forward. For the Buffalo Bills offensively, they look like a destination people would be interested in. Gronk said no, but think about it. It's Tampa. I just want a ring. Do I really want to go back to Western New York where I'm from? Do you understand him saying no, thanks, but no thanks, Buffalo?
Absolutely. And here's the thing. I don't think I wanted Rob Gronkowski either, right? Like, he's got his little bromance with Tom Brady. You want to bring Gronkowski in, teach him a new offense. He's kind of fragile at this point. He wasn't what he was to all his whole career to the end of the season. Yeah, get him out. Who cares?
Carl, your thoughts?
I would have liked Gronk for the run blocking, more for the pass catching. He could have taken the spot of Lee Smith, but still be available downfield to Josh Allen. But there was no doubt, in my opinion, if Gronk was going to play again, it was going to be with Tampa and with Brady. Why go away from that if you're Gronk?
He actually knows exactly what he needs, just a little bit of discipline. He parties a lot, but guess what? When it's time to work, you need that guy, that study partner with you, and he's got it in Tom Brady. Like it or not, coming up next, you're watching the Rochester Press Box.
Here's the Press Box trivia question brought to you by Market View Liquor. where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
All of these things show Josh Allen has a strive for greatness inside of him.
Falkin Around with Carl Falk. New episodes every Tuesday on Rock Sports Now.
Here's the Press Box Trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Are you facing criminal charges from a DWI and feel that you never imagined it could happen to you? Contact attorneys with years of experience as prosecutors and defenders. Contact Ganguly Brothers Law today for a free consultation. You can put your trust in us. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. I'm Tariq Spence filling in for Bill Pucko. Like it or not, it's being brought to you by Ganguly Brothers Law, attorneys with years of experience defending the accused. Don't go unprepared with less. Contact Ganguly Brothers Law today. All right, let's start first, Carl, with a couple of different things. NCAA tournaments going on right now. I was a little bit concerned with the news. 6 refs basically taken away, 1 testing positive for COVID-19. You a little worried about this?
Yes, because I think what it'll do, they had brought a limited number of referees to the bubble in Indy anyway. I think they had just over 60. So you're going to see guys work multiple games in multiple rounds. It's not like a traditional tournament where you have to send guys to different spots. Now that they're all there, they can work multiple days. So you might have fatigue. It's interesting that these refs who went home, their hotel rooms were not ready. So they went out to eat. One of them had tested positive. All 6 get whacked. And a couple of those guys are Final Four referees. Roger Ayers and John Higgins are guys that traditionally work the Final Four.
Pat Duffy, it seems as if the Buffalo Sabres look like they're cleaning house, starting with their coach in Krueger. Your thoughts on that? Like it or not?
Yeah. You have to like it. And look, before anyone comes at me and says, oh, how do you celebrate somebody losing their job? The guy's going to make $3.9 million next year for doing absolutely nothing. The Sabres, if I'm not mistaken, they're 6-18 as we tape this show right now. They have 6 wins, and if I'm not mistaken, have been shut out 7 times. They've been shut out more times this season than they've won. Krueger gets fired after a 12-game losing streak. And if you're a hockey fan, I don't care how bad you are. It is almost impossible to lose 12 straight games in the NHL, especially this season when you're seeing the same teams over and over again and you're playing backup goalies more consistently than you used to. I don't get this guy. I mean, I wanted to give him a chance up front, but he's coming over after managing a soccer team, and then he has 20 games of NHL coaching experience being a fill-in in Edmonton after someone else got fired. I don't know where you go from here. Like, it's gotten so bad, and it's not all his fault, but it's gotten so bad. The path out of where we're at might be to have to blow it all up over again. And I, as a Sabres fan, dear God, I can't go through another 2-3 years of that, man.
I'm sorry. It looks like you're going to have to.
Shut up.
Like it or not, Carl, one Mr. LeBron James, who I guess was a Yankee fan, but I don't think the Yankees are selling off pieces of the team. So what does he do? Go out and be a part of the Boston Red Sox and own a bit of that franchise.
Yeah, he and his partner, Maverick Carter, they're really smart businessmen. And not only is it the Red Sox, that's what we look at in this country. Oh, he bought part of the Red Sox. But there's also one of the premier soccer teams in the world and a Roush Racing team as well, Fenway Roush Racing. So there's a lot of tentacles to this deal. It's a good business deal for LeBron, and, you know, money makes money, and that's what he and Maverick Carter are doing with this one.
I can't recall too many people. I don't know if you've heard about this, Duffy, that, guys, or women that get into, are popular in one sport, but are now owning multiple other sports or multiple other franchises. This is something that started a couple of years ago, but LeBron James taking it to a new level.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, if there was someone that was going to do it, it was going to be LeBron James, if not Magic Johnson, right? Like, I mean, how many guys really have that kind of power? Maybe a David Beckham. But I do find it funny. Can you find an athlete that has more loyalties to different teams in Major League Baseball than LeBron? He's a Cleveland fan. He's a Yankees fan. He's a Dodgers fan. Now he's a Red Sox fan. So I'm excited next season to see what hat he's wearing when he walks out of somebody's dugout. Very exciting.
I think it better be a Red Sox hat from now on, or you got a lot of explaining to do. Unfinished business coming up next. You're watching the Rochester Press Box. The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. McArdle's is open 7 days a week with dining available indoors and out, takeout and delivery. Come home to McArdle's.
And now to Eichel. He floated one.
Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. Tariq Spence filling in for Bill Pucko. And of course, unfinished business, Pat Duffy kicks it off.
Carl brought up earlier in the show how much money the Patriots are spending in the offseason. You see Patriots fans on social media, yeah, how you like that? One down season, but Belichick planned for this. They got all this money, and we are so back, baby. Watch out, AFC East, here we come, which I find adorable because Patriots fans do not understand what Belichick is doing to them right now. The guy that comes after Belichick, which will be somebody very soon because Belichick is up there, is screwed. He is burying your franchise because the moves that he's made this offseason, although pretty eye-opening, don't guarantee any kind of success. It's a lot of guaranteed money that's going to last years, possibly after Belichick is gone. And here's what I find odd. Robert Kraft, owner of the Patriots, is willing to give Belichick the benefit of the doubt. He's willing to let Belichick do whatever he wants with his money. But it wasn't what he was willing to let Tom Brady do. The guy who showed up and instantly became a success. People forget Belichick was about to get fired if Mo Lewis didn't blow up Drew Bledsoe's spleen, allowing Brady to come in. They found out last year that they made the mistake letting Brady walk to Tampa as he holds a Super Bowl trophy over his head. What I don't get is the clout you're allowing Belichick to have now after the mistakes he made last offseason.
The 585 has been very proud of our basketball for some time now, but right now we have reason to really puff our chest out. 3 young men from the 585 have become NBA basketball players. Of course, Thomas Bryant, who's rehabbing a knee injury, is a member of the Washington Wizards. Isaiah Stewart, the Quaid kid, ended up the number 1 first-round draft pick for the Detroit Pistons. And last week, Anthony Lamb from Greece Athena signed a 2-way contract with the Houston Rockets. 3 young men in the NBA. But I want to talk about the last of those 3, Anthony Lamb. He did it a different way than the other 2. He stayed in Rochester for 4 years of high school, didn't go to prep school. He was a tweener size-wise, didn't have elite athleticism, so places like Syracuse stupidly did not recruit him. Ended up at the University of Vermont, where he put up huge numbers and made a name for himself as a player of the year in their conference. And then got an opportunity in the G League after being traded. He did it untraditionally, but he showed one thing every step of the way. This kid can play. I don't know how long he'll be on the Rockets roster. It's a 2-way contract, but I guarantee you this, Anthony Lamb has a long, successful career ahead of him because he's a worker and the kid's a baller, and I'm proud of him, and I'm happy for the 585 and his family.
For folks out there watching college basketball, understand we didn't get this last year. Why? Because of COVID-19, which is why I would ask if your team is not in it this year, I would binge watch Last Chance U basketball and see what it was like for a team that was expected to win a championship, get all the way there, only to find out what we all know is going to be the end. But it isn't so much how it ends, but the story that they tell. The way that the coach has been going, John Mosley, has been teaching these young men to basically give it everything they've got, put it all on the line, spending time with them over his family to try to get them in a place where they can better themselves. The overall devotion that this coach has for his players and the things that these players have gone through is a compelling story and worth binge watching. I started with 1 episode and barely could get through the rest of the day without watching all of them. This is a perfect opportunity to remind folks in anything in sports, this is why coaches ride you so hard. You never know what's going to be right around the corner. You never know when you're going to play your last game or when a pandemic may take your whole season away. That's Unfinished Business. Carl Falk, as always, good to have you here. Where can they find you on that podcast?
It's available on Buzzsprout, Apple iTunes, YouTube. We're doing it live every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock on YouTube as well.
I will now go to YouTube, since you just mentioned it, and watch the Allen Houston shot against the Miami Heat. Why? Because of Duffy's jersey.
That's right. And, hey, why not go watch some highlights from, the 99 Olympics? Gold medal winner, Allen Houston.
Okay. I might get around to that if I can.
2000.
Yeah, 2099.
Shut up, everybody. Shut up. I don't hate.
Either way. I'll be back next week. Lord willing, thank you. Have a great day. Thanks for watching the Rochester Press Box.